trusting me. He gets this information. It's disturbing to him because he feels really exposed, really vulnerable. I sent the letter off. I just said, hey, this is what's been going on. There's no New York Times Magazine article. There's no agent. I've been discussing these things. It's not made up out of whole cloth, but there's been some embroidery here. Your explanation is perfectly acceptable. He says it's quite satisfactory, and then he expresses relief. I'm glad that you are able to explain yourself because I have come to think of you as one of my favorite correspondents. And, essentially he didn't want to have to write me off. In the meantime, Michael Mello, his response to that was to write essentially a poison pen letter. He said to Kaczynski that he was forced to conclude that I was untrustworthy and irresponsible and a braggart because I must have been telling Mello stories. That was a fatal blow, and I knew that as soon as I saw it. A couple weeks later, I got another letter retracting the apology. I've been aware of these inconsistencies for some time, but I refrained from saying anything because I wanted to see how far you would go. Essentially, he was done with me. When I had gotten the interview, it probably, at some level, inflamed some jealousy. I don't think that either of these men is particularly small-minded, that they would just, in some kind of Iago-like fashion, stab me in the back. But I also think that that was one of the things that was going on.
He's my Unabomber. No,
yeah.
He's my Unabomber. No, he's my Unabomber.
And of course, with me getting the interview, he was my Unabomber, right?
What if you got a letter that said, Gary,
come and write my biography? I'd have to say no. No. My immediate response was a kind of turning of my stomach. I have real trouble with the truth here. But I somehow erected a shield. I don't think I ever lost my perspective entirely. But I definitely got to a point where I was working hard to gain the trust and the sympathy and the acceptance of a man who murdered people. I got this letter from him. It's a very provocative letter. It's a chilling letter. Our ongoing argument about whether or not there's such a thing as objective truth. He says, I thought we'd settled that long ago. And indeed, it was the subject of his first letter to me. This is something that you would do well to remember, either about nuclear explosions or about other little tricks that physics can play. Best regards, Ted.